I'm James Swanwick. Welcome to the show. Today we are talking with a Project 90 graduate who's almost 6 months alcohol free. And this gentleman has a misbehaving cancer who he's going to share a little bit about. Tongue cancer, in fact. But despite that, our guest today has remained alcohol free. You would think that getting a cancer diagnosis or having a misbehaving cancer would be enough to drive you to the drink. But our guest today says no. He's broken the back of alcohol and is feeling pretty damn good despite this annoying cancer that keeps rearing its ugly head. Ray Kinjo, 40 years old, from Orange County, California, is a certified financial planner, and he joins us now. Ray, how you doing?
Hi, James. I'm doing fantastic. Couldn't be better. Thanks for having me.
Of course. What is going on with this tongue cancer of yours? Just give us a little bit of context, if you would.
Sure. Like you said, I've been getting some bad news about my cancer for the past couple of years. So in March of 2021, I had some pain on my tongue. And I got it biopsied, and it turned out to be pretty advanced cancer. Even just with the biopsy results, they said that it's not going to end very pretty. But just to kind of speed up a little bit, it was staged at a stage 3 because it metastasized to my lymph nodes in my neck. So if you look closely, there's a big it's what's called a neck dissection, where they ripped open my neck to take out the cancer in my neck. They, in April of 2021, they took out about 30% of my tongue where the tumor was. It's called a glossectomy. And because of the biology and the pathology reports, they recommended me to go through aggressive radiation treatment, which I don't wish on my worst enemy. It was basically microwaving your neck and your tongue over and over again. And opposed to surgery, where every day you feel better, radiation is quite the opposite. Every day you feel crummier, there's pain. I was on, pain medication for a pretty long time. And then I thought I closed that chapter. And then come December and January of 2022, 2023, there was some suspicious pain again while I was on vacation. And I got a biopsy, and unfortunately pretty much was served the worst news. A father, a businessman who takes care of clients, and a dad and a husband can be served. It is my cancer came back. So if I get a little emotional here, it's I'm working with some people to kind of go through that traumatic event. But the problem with the cancer I had is it's from my understanding, the survival rates aren't that good. So I got diagnosed at age 38. And then my daughter was 1 at the time. I distinctly remember I had to sit down with them and basically apologize to them that my wife's going to be a widow shortly. There's a high chance of her being a widow, and my daughter just growing up without a dad. I remember that distinctly, and it was a very another thing is I remember, like, when I'm bathing my daughter or kissing my daughter, hugging my daughter, I remember, like, in the back of my head, like, this might be, I have 30 more kisses left, I have 15 more times I can bathe my daughter, I have 10 more walks I have left in me. So it was very, and the good news is a very spiritual awakening. I think I was working too hard. I had no balance in my life. I was drinking. But as it stands now, I came across, I probably have about 60 to 55 to 60% of my tongue left. And I took some more out in February of this year. I can't go through treatment again. So I'm a bit of a ticking time bomb. If I get some bad news again, it's I might have to have that same conversation again, with my family. But at the moment, I'm very blessed with good surgeons, and a good medical.
Mm. Thank you for sharing that with us, Ray. It sounds like you've been through some challenging experiences and you're still going through it. Can only imagine how challenging it must be to have that conversation with your loved ones.
Yeah, it was. It's one of those things that you just you'll always remember. Just having that kitchen table conversation.
Yeah, yeah. When just before we started this interview, I asked you how you're doing, and you said, "Oh, I'm doing absolutely fantastic, James." What did you mean by that? Why do you feel absolutely fantastic, despite what you've just shared with us about, this stubborn cancer that's sticking around?
Um, I attribute my state of happiness to being alcohol free, James. Last year, yeah, was a very transformational year for me, where I decided to take a deeper look in my lifestyle, and then I made these changes, and every day I wake up, I journal, and the top of the thing is I'm grateful for James Swanwick, Coach Victoria, and P90 for waking up one more day alcohol free, no hangover, clear, productive, and I'm not just saying this just to just to say it. I really feel the best in my life, knowing my life can change any day now. But changing, for the worse, health wise. But I'm in. I thought I would never say this, James, but I thought I would never say this, but I can probably. The next time I drink, maybe when my daughter goes to college, but even then, I don't think I will. I just don't want to go back to that, to who I was.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Thank you for those kind words that you shared.
Sure.
What was going on with your drinking habits that inspired you to want to make that change and go alcohol free in the first place?
The cancer had a lot to do with it. Drinking is pretty much the second worst thing I can do for this type of cancer, besides smoking. And I was a smoker, several, almost 10 years ago. But even after my first diagnosis, I still continued to drink. But my relationship with my wife, she would get very upset naturally, right? If I come home from the country club, or my friend's house, drunk, I'll be like, "You're killing yourself. You have a daughter to take care of. You have a family to take care of." And it took a little bit, and then it finally sunk in, and saying I got to change, my habits so I can stay alive, for my family. And that's kind of like called 80% of it. Well, that's most of it, but also that, that, um, hangovers, all that. You can't be present with it. You can't go to Disneyland with a hangover. I mean, you can, but you're just gonna hate life, right? So not having a hangover, and and I think any cancer survivor would agree with me that when mortality gets very close to you, your priorities just come straight to the top. I distinctly remember within 20 seconds, I know exactly where I wanted to be, who I wanted to be next to, who I wanted to be talking to, who I wanted to have meals with. And alcohol just wasn't part of the picture. And I just don't think it'll ever be. So unfortunately, it did take pretty much a near-death experience, which I'm kind of still going through. But it's not part of my life anymore.
Amazing. So 20 seconds, within 20 seconds, you knew who those people were that you wanted to spend time with and how you wanted to live. And would you share who those people are if you feel comfortable doing so?
I did not want to leave my daughter's side. I came straight home. I was at a snowboarding trip with my friends about a couple hours away. I got the diagnosis in a parking lot in the mountains. I knew it was going to come, but I thought he was going to prescribe me some cream, you know, to put it over like a mouthwash or something. Not the worst news I can ever imagine. But I ran home. I lied to my friends. You know, I said, "Oh, I have some business to take care of. My client's calling me," and I ran home. And I didn't tell my wife at the time because I just had no idea how to digest it. But it was my wife and my daughter. I just ran straight home and did not want to be anywhere else.
Mm. The doctor phoned you when you were on the slopes. Is that right? You were on a ski trip and you were in the parking lot. And what did the doctor actually say? What were the words that he or she said to you?
Yeah, I know. It was Mr. Kinjo. Are you sitting? Are you sitting down? God, it's just such a. I distinctly remember these a couple minutes with the doctor on the phone, and he said, "It is what I thought it was." And then he said, "It looks like it's very advanced cancer." And then my ears started ringing. You know, I almost had tunnel vision. Um, and then I knew before that, doing some Googling, that if it was oral cancer, the survival rates aren't that good. Well, given what Google says, right? But that's all I can really go off of at that time. And I remember he was talking about, like, I didn't even know what oncologist was at that time. He's all like, "Do you have an oncologist, to go to, like chemo, radiation, surgery?" And I just remember, like not me. It can't be me. Um, so yeah, and then he referred me to some really good head and neck doctors. And unfortunately, the doctors have always, they've been world class. So I've been very fortunate with good doctors.
Mm. Hearing that must have just hit you like a ton of bricks.
It was, I almost fainted. I just literally didn't. I wasn't expecting that. I was very optimistic about something. About the pain. I was hoping it was just some sort of like rash. But it hit like yeah. It was that 2-hour ride home in the quiet. It was just a weird time. It was very peaceful. Like I thought to myself, "Oh God, so this is how I'm gonna go." I'm like, "Oh, this cancer happens to regular people." Like I'm a normal dude. You know, um, and then I just remember, like, how am I gonna break this to my family? To my wife, my parents, and if you're a parent, you would know that the last thing you want is to outlive your kids, right? So I had that to that news to break also. But it was, I mean, it was kind of like, a gun was pointed in my head, a loaded gun. Yeah.
When did you tell your family? How long after? Like you said, you went home and you were with your family, with your wife and daughter. When did you break the news?
It was about 4, 5 days after, when nah, it was when I was finally able to see my surgeon. And he looked at it and gave me a plan of treatment, saying, "Here's what to expect." Because if my thought, whether it's right or wrong, I don't know, but my thought process was, if I need to break some really, really bad news, I better have a plan, to ensure that this is what's going to happen. So let's hope for the best. So I broke the news to them, James, after I got some more direction from my doctors.
Mm. How did they receive it?
Not, yeah, my wife was shocked, to say the least. Frankly, there's a lot of, I would go as far as to say PTSD among myself and my family. There's actually a term called cancer-linked PTSD. Yeah, there's any kind of cough or headache or anything, any kind of like, if my bones start hurting or like cough, it's like, oh shoot, let's go to the oncologist type of thing. So it's been pretty fragile for the past couple of years. Yeah. Yeah, my parents were they were in Hawaii at the time. They lived, back and forth, but I had a FaceTime with them. And they're naturally optimistic people. And after I told them the treatment, they're like, okay, let's just take it one step at a time and deal with it head on.
And then you began treatment almost immediately?
Surgery first. Yeah, surgery first. And then once it got staged and everything, then they recommended treatment, radiation treatment. So surgery, then radiation shortly thereafter. So that was basically all of 2021, surgery and treatment and recovery from treatment and surgery.
Yeah, got it. And then where did alcohol fit into all of this? If you were doing that through 2021 and you were with us in 2022, where did this shift in your mind go around alcohol specifically?
I don't know why. I mean, I guess that's, the power of alcohol, the toxicity, the addiction, the drug part of alcohol, where even after I was served the worst news possible, I was still drinking. In hindsight, it sounds idiotic. It really does. While you're drinking, while you have active cancer and active cancer cells, you're still drinking. It sounds idiotic. But anyways, I guess that's just the power alcohol had over me, right? And then time went on, couple of months, and then my wife started getting upset quite a bit when I realized I got to get my life in order. And I'm sure there's a couple of hangovers that I never, I don't want to experience ever again. And cancer and my health aside, there was a lot of stalling in my business. I couldn't quite, reach my goals where I was. So I just figured I needed a very transformational change. And I do mean transformational because I've been drinking since I was 13, 14. Yeah, once I knew I had to make the change, I reached out to you, and frankly, James, I think I messaged you over this, but you didn't give up on me. I was poking you and saying, what's your program like? Probably for like a year and a half. And then you would follow up, hey Ray, how are you? And I respond, yeah, I'm good. But you didn't give up on you. You kept on following up, and your team did too. So I'm very grateful of that. So in other words, I guess what I'm trying to get at as far as Project 90, I was pretty hesitant. I was hesitant in the beginning. I was like, is this really going to work? And then the algorithm of community and, 90 days of, of alcohol free and education and some tips to cope and, all that type of stuff. I was like, is this really going to work? It sounds so simple. but I can tell you, it's the best thing I ever did in my adult life. I mean, it's getting married, having kids, all that good stuff, and going alcohol free is up there. That's way up there, James.
Wow. Why do you feel that? Why is it up there?
I doubled my revenue last year. Just in that short time I was alcohol free. I seem to get luckier when I'm alcohol free. My relationship with my wife has never been. I mean, marriage is, it's you have to work on it, but it's much better. Let's put it that way. Being a dad and being able to be a dad alcohol free is 100 times better than being hungover or smelling like booze, or instead of reading with my daughter, I'm out with the country club getting drunk. I mean, I can't even. It sounds idiotic now. Now I think about it. I can go on and on. I'm writing a book. Now. I mean, I've lost. I went through cancer, but so naturally I'll lose a significant amount of weight, but. It's much easier to keep the weight off. That's for sure. What else? I mean, every morning it's like I feel like this beam of focus. I can feel my alcohol-free lifestyle from my eyes. I can just feel it. Okay, what am I going to do? I'm going to journal. I'm going to work out. I have so much energy in the mornings. I mean, I just can't imagine going back to the drinking, James. I really can't.
Yeah, I'm just letting that sink in. It sounds like you've had a profound, it sounds like going alcohol free has had a profound impact on you physically and emotionally.
Absolutely. Yeah. Emotionally. Yeah, there was some anxiety, to say the least, about health issues and just work and this overall general anxiety. And I just didn't want to. I wanted a ways to manage that. And I was part of a 30-day. What do you call that? It's the Project
30-day no alcohol challenge.
The challenge, right? And I remember during that challenge, nearly that anxiety just lifted, and I was like, oh, maybe if I go alcohol free for 90 days, I'll just feel that much better. And it did. But mentally, emotionally, spiritually, that anxiety has completely lifted, not to say there's anxiety free, but it's much easier to manage. And the decisions you make and the problem solving is much faster. Yeah, it was a profound. Going alcohol free has. There's no. There, I mean, yeah, I can't imagine going back to drinking. And I'd never say that a year ago. Not even close. So it's really, it's wild that's coming out of my mouth.
Yeah. You sharing your story with me now is actually impacting me, because it's making me realize how much I appreciate getting to know folks who go through our process and our program. And candidly, Ray, I must share why I think this is having such an impact is because I was aware of you in the program, and Victoria, who's one of our coaches, filled me in. And when we spoke, when I was celebrating you on your 90 days, you did share what was going on with your cancer, etc. And because we have so many clients, and because I'm doing so many things with marketing and social media and running a university study, and we have let's see, 170, probably 190 active clients right now. Okay. Project 90 clients, beyond 90 clients, and then those who are participating in our university study at the moment. And so, you know, some clients can fall through the cracks in the sense that I don't have that emotional connection with someone. That's what I mean. We take care of all of our clients. No one falls through the cracks in terms of our services, but in terms of my knowledge or my emotional connection to our clients, some people fall through the cracks. And I have to share candidly that you sharing your story now, I feel a little bit of guilt, almost like a little bit of shame that I wasn't aware of the extent of what was going on with you until now. And it's making me feel very appreciative and making me feel emotionally more connected to the work that we do and to our coaches, Coach Victoria and Sarah and our staff and our team, because they're really making an impact on folks like yourself because you're sharing that. And, you know, it's creating an impact on me and actually inspiring me to want to do more and want to get to know people a lot more. Because, you know, as any business owner will know, and sometimes you can get stuck in return on investment and money in and money out and the accounting and the hiring and the staff, and you can lose, at least I'm talking for myself, I can lose that human connection a lot, candidly. So yeah, I'm feeling very inspired and moved by you sharing your story as I become increasingly aware of your story. So I wanted to thank you for that.
Oh, you're very welcome. And you know, to your defense, it took a while for me to open up to anyone really about my cancer story. So I wasn't broadcasting it, you know, to everyone. So there was a good chance that it wouldn't have probably come, you know, yeah. So I mean, don't feel bad, you know. I wasn't out, you know. I don't have a YouTube channel on it, you know. So
yeah.
Um,
What has been the impact on your family from you being alcohol free? Like what has your wife shared with you about you being alcohol free? Maybe colleagues or friends or anyone who knows you. Has there been any feedback you've received about you being alcohol free?
you know what's interesting, James? This topic of you know, being alcohol free and other people has come up many times in the Zoom meetings, you know, and of course the Marco Polos. And strangely enough, you're going alcohol free. You're not gonna come home to a standing ovation every day. You know, you know, I kind of thought like, you know, like stupidly, like I'd get a pat on the back from my wife for like not drinking today, but that doesn't happen. You know, my friends are like, I didn't lose any friends. I've been naturally gravitating more towards people that don't drink and have a healthier lifestyle, which is great. But my friends haven't really. I think I've inspired some people. But no one's really ever congratulated me, you know, so to speak. I mean, once in a while, definitely my wife would say, "Oh, I like you better this way," you know, type of thing. I'm so glad that you don't drink anymore, or you know, you're alcohol free now. So to answer your question, it's a very subtle. It's a very subtle feedback from your surroundings. So it's very much it's more kind of internal, where it's much more peaceful. You know, it's much more peace internally, and you can live life better, you know, to the fullest better. You know, the surroundings the feedback from surroundings wasn't I didn't get much at all, you know, but I didn't really care to, you know. So it was very much more of an intro, like an internal type of change. So, oh well, you know, like I used to drink with my dad, you know, have a couple glasses of wine over dinner. And when I went to go see them in Hawaii, you know, I didn't drink at all during the holidays, and he didn't say congratulations, you know, or anything like that. It's just, you know, it's just it's for yourself, you know, it's for your kids, it's for your wife, it's a for lack of a better word, it's a it's well it's the right thing to do, you know, it's the responsible thing to do, especially for me when, you know, when I can get news that I'm gonna have 12 months to live, you know, but I you know, I don't think that'll happen, but it's definitely it's the right thing to do for a family. Yeah.
Not only does it feel like the right thing to do, but it's this incredibly impactful thing to do, it sounds like, for you.
Yeah, there are some very immediate benefits, very immediate benefits from going alcohol free. Absolutely. Spiritually, mental health wise, physical health wise, and the more you're away from it, and again, I think everyone who's gone through the program would say this, would agree with me. The longer you're away from it, the better it is, you know. You know, soon I'll be 10 months and a year, and then 2 years, and then it's just you feel better, and your life it just becomes the way it's supposed to be, the way nature intended it to be.
That's right. The way nature intended it to be, exactly. Your natural state, as opposed to the unnatural state where you're drinking poison and toxins.
Absolutely.
Tell me about the folks that you met inside of Project 90. What was that like? Who did you meet? What was it like?
Yeah, I still remember several people's names. Unfortunately, I don't have any. I had a very anticlimactic exit because I was going into surgery like on my 91st day or 92nd day. And I had, you know, I was a bit of a shock because the second, you know, recurrence diagnosis. But the benefit of the meetings and everything, it's actually, I guess you intentionally made it this way, is if I'm on day 1, there's people on day 45 that are speaking from 45 days of experience, and then 80 days, then 90 days. So there was a gentleman where he was about 50 days in, and I was like day 1 or day 2. And he got pretty emotional and said, I probably won't, you know, I will likely not drink again. Something about his family. And I remember this, he said it hit him like a ton of bricks, where the game is rigged, meaning all the alcohol billboards, all the advertisements, all that stuff. I mean, they're playing us, you know? And then what my point is, you pick up on these little, everyone's epiphanies along the way, you know, and you hear it firsthand from these guys, you know, from the team guys, and it really stays with you. And then what happens is now you're 45 days, and then you get to talk to someone the first or second day, and then now you're kind of a mentor teacher type of, you know, kind of a senior position, and then you can tell them, oh, you know, do this, do that. So it's a very interesting maturity schedule, you know, that happens over the 90 days. But the way you designed it is very cool. Yeah. So sorry, to go back to your question. Yeah, all the everyone in the group are high earners, business owners, very smart. So we all drive the same way. We all really, really thought the same way. Your kind of, what's the word? Your philosophy that we're not alcoholics, right? We just probably drink too much occasionally. And getting that group together, right, is very unique. Is very unique. In fact, that's probably that's probably the main reason why it works, is because it's the same type of people getting together. And I once heard, James, that it was through a TikTok I was listening to, that he said, I'm glad that I'm a really bad, glaring alcoholic, because the worst is actually kind of being an alcoholic and kind of drinking, because now you're left with just your life just being wasted and you don't even know it. So if a crazy, like, not crazy, as a super self-admitting alcoholic says that this is the worst type of drinking, and that's kind of the high earner drinking, I think that's correct, because it's just, you just, hours and days are just kind of slowly just getting stolen from you. Yeah.
Well, it only took you 18 months to join our little community, right? 18 months of thinking about it, huh? And then finally you got over the line and you did it.
Yeah, there's a couple things there. The one is I actually joined a different group. It was I thought it was an alcohol free group, but it turned out to be a little bit different. And secondly, there's an element of that saying, the teacher shows up when the student is ready, So I was very much ready to listen and open and everything. So I'm glad it happened. But by all means, if it happened earlier, the better. But it took me 18 months.
Well, Ray, thank you so much for sharing your incredible journey with us. Do you want to just give us an update now on what's the latest with the throat? With the tongue cancer. What's now? You mentioned before you were doing some speech therapy. You said that you feel fine. There's no fatigue. You just got minimal pain. What's the latest? What's now coming up?
So the way the most recent biology of the cancer came back, or the pathology of the cancer came back, is it's certainly misbehaving, meaning radiation didn't work, and it's supposed to. It would anyway. The latest is just follow-ups and a lot of imaging. Not a lot, but PET scans are coming up, MRIs are coming up. I have to go. Not have to. Every 3 weeks I have to go in for a follow-up. Any kind of pain, any kind of discoloration anywhere in my mouth, I have to go in right away, because I'm at very high risk for developing cancer again. So, and if just in terms of cancer, it's very traumatic, but on the bright side, if you catch cancer early, it's very, very manageable. Hopefully with just surgery or something like that. It's when it starts to metastasize, into your bones, your liver, lungs, hips, everything like that. So I would recommend anyone that if there's any kind of pain, don't hesitate, because as much as you'll be afraid to get a cancer diagnosis, catching it early is you can be a dad, a mom, a business owner. You can be longer. It's a matter of just catching early.
And it sounds like your perspective on life and relationships and experiences has shifted. How do you experience life now through the lens of, hey, life could be gone at any moment?
Yeah. So along with me wanting to be next to my daughter and my wife right away, the second biggest thing that really hit me, James, is not a lot of things matter in this life. You know, you know, everyone goes through their emails, good news, bad news, you know, kids misbehaving, you know, this and that. None of that matters, James. It really doesn't. Business ups, business downs, that does not matter. Recognition doesn't really matter. So many things just don't matter. Is kind of the lens I operate in. But you know, when my wife is tired and she needs to take a break, that matters. For me, that matters. For me to take care of my daughter, because to give her a rest, that matters. For me to go out of my way to help out a friend or a client or, you know, whatever, that matters, you know. But the a lot of things, most things don't matter. Is kind of is a lesson learned, you know, from my experience.
Beautiful. Well, Ray, thank you so much for sharing your journey with us. And of course, we wish you all the best in your recovery. Call it recovery, right? We call it recovery. I'm talking about the cancer. I'm not talking about the alcohol. I'm talking about the tongue cancer. Do you consider yourself recovering from that at the moment, or is there a different language you use in relation to that?
I believe yeah, no, recovered from the surgery, definitely, because that was recovered from the surgery. But I, the way I feel now, you know, the way my mouth feels and everything, it's I think I turned a chapter. You know, I think we got every last bit of it in this pretty extensive surgery I had in February. So I learned all I can in this traumatic event for the better. And I'm going to take this experience and hopefully share it with as many people as possible. Hence, I'm writing a book. It's a little bit different angle of cancer, but it's my journey, and it's being alcohol free is the only way to go.
Incredible. Ray Kinjo, 40, from Orange County, California. Thank you so much for your time.
Thank you, James. I am not where I am today without you and your team. So thank you.
You're so welcome. Thanks, Ray.
Okay. All right. Have a good one. Thanks.